Good morning, all our good colleagues. Welcome to the session. Just some housekeeping while some more people are joining in. Great seeing all the faces this morning. Please keep yourselves on mute as much as possible. Even though during the questions and answers session, we'll give you opportunity to raise your hand, unmute yourself, and ask questions to the panelists. So we try and keep the questions to the panel discussion. And you're welcome to switch on your video, but it's good to save some bandwidth, should you switch off your video. The panelists, they will switch their videos on during their presentations and the panel discussion. Guys, should something go wrong, please keep your eye on the inbox, your mail inbox. We will send you then a new link to join the session should something happen. But it'll be great being with the colleagues today. And I would like to put up our program for the day so that we can start our session. So without further ado, I would like to hand over to Mr. Sandile Khoza, General Manager, Access World and Silson Next Generation Champion, and he will take us through the program and do the welcome. Thank you very much, Sandile.
Sandile, I think you are on mute.
Okay.
There you go.
Thanks, Harry. Good morning and warm welcome. Firstly, thank to everyone that has attended this webinar. Looking forward engaging with you. A special thank you to Oracle, who's our main sponsor for this event. As Harry has said, my name is Sandile Khoza. I'm a National Council member for SILT. Within SILT, I champion and lead the next generation, which used to be called young professionals. Just a little bit about SILT. SILT was founded in 1919 with an aim of developing science and art with logistics within the logistics and transport industry. So SILT has since grew and with some initiatives that they've come up with. Like for an example, what I've just spoken about, the next generation. Next generation is where we as young professionals, we get to meet, we create a platform where we get to meet and we talk about issues that relates to the industry. We also have Willard, which is a woman in logistics, which was launched in 2013. This is mainly to promote the women in the logistics industry. Which we saw there was a gap. Reason why I joined SILT is simply because SILT offered a lot of initiatives which I saw that were required in the industry, and then I decided to join SILT, and I've benefited a lot from that, and I can encourage a lot of people to join as well. I'm just now gonna hand over to Martin, but before I hand over to him, I would like to introduce him formally and just a little bit about Martin, who is also our panelist. Martin Bailey is a professional engineer with a bachelor's and master's degree in engineering from University of Wits. He is presently a chairman of Industrial Logistics Systems, Ltd, a leading warehouse supply chain consultant in South Africa. Martin has designed and implemented over 500 facilities in South Africa, Europe, and Middle East. His clients include who's who of the industry, and is known for his practical and pragmatic approach to solving problems. Martin is an active member and has been on council as a chairperson of several institutions in the Southern Africa. He's also involved in promoting education in the supply chain in South Africa. Before joining Industrial Logistics Systems, Martin worked as a lecturer in the University of Wits, and he co-founded university's Material Handling Research Unit and Deputy Director of the University of Technology Center. Martin supervised dozens of postgraduate dissertation and present many papers of warehouse and distribution throughout the world. Martin is also a regular contributor to many journals and has helped set many of standards used in the local distribution industry. I will now hand over to my colleague, Martin. Thank you.
Hi guys, I'm not sure whether you can see me yet.
We can see you, Martin.
Ah, great. Okay. I'm going to talk for just a few minutes on some of the latest developments in supply chain, what's happening in the world of supply chain and where it's going. And I'm just going to be 5 minutes.
Just slideshow mode for us, please.
Oh, okay. Where do I find that?
Bottom right of your screen, there's a little screen thingy. There you go. Sometimes you have to re-click it.
Yeah, okay.
Perfect, thank you.
Great, guys. So I'm going to just talk to you very briefly about some of the developments in supply chain. And clearly, there's a whole lot of support pillars for good supply chain. Intelligent route to market, which we're going to hear about today quite a lot. Customer focus, which we're going to hear about. Good suppliers, no use having good customers and lousy suppliers. Good infrastructure facilities, warehouses, equipment. Good systems, we're going to hear about that quite a lot today. All the IT systems. Most probably important of all, good people. And management support. If you don't have management support, and then ideally all of these systems talk to each other, that would be the perfect world. But we do have a real changing world where everything in the world is changing in supply chain. Internationally, if we look at it, we've got e-commerce, we've got people saying, hey, I want it now. Tomorrow's not good enough. I want today's delivery. We have a massive SKU explosion. Clearly, digitization, whatever that is happening. We're seeing artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data, blockchain, all of those nice things. A lot of automation happening. In our industry, especially in the warehousing industry, automation is easy to implement. We see a flatter earth when we say a flatter earth, where everybody can talk to everybody, goods can come through everywhere. A lot of pressures on social stuff. One of the new buzzwords, the ESG, environment, social governance, everybody's paying attention, global warming, a lot more regulations. We're seeing more and more regulations every day, more competition, and more emphasis on sustainability. In South Africa, we've got a few other influences. We have labor issues, we have government policy issues, we have one of the biggest issues is, hey, do I want to invest in South Africa? We have BEE issues. We have very high levels of tax. We have relatively still very high interest rates, although they've come down compared to the Western world. High incidence of crime, unrest, unemployment too, if anybody counts, but it's probably over 40%. We have issues with our rail, we have issues with our ports, and these days issues with trucks on the road. What other infrastructure? COVID clearly, bureaucracy, lots of it, corruption, lots of it, and the ease of doing business. So you can say, hey, you know, there's quite a lot of influences local. I don't want to depress you all. Perhaps the biggest change in our industry is the SKU explosion. Just more and more, when you go shopping for peanut butter, there's now 46 varieties. 10 years ago, there were 4 varieties, and 20 years ago, you could buy Black Cat or Black Cat. So that's changed, and everybody wants their own choice. Is the changing customer the biggest driver? Customers are whole different breed of people who now want to buy things off their cell phones or off their computers, don't want to go into shops. The only time they go into shops is for social networking. I've said a flatter world where you can buy anything from anywhere in the world. As long as you're got a computer, you can order just about anything from anywhere. Here's an interesting graph of the growth of e-commerce in the last few months. And you can see what COVID has done to e-commerce. Massive increase. This is out of the States, but I guess it's worldwide, where you can see this massive step in e-commerce due to COVID. So is that what's going to be our future? Or is our future all about automation? Is that going to change our lives? Interesting discussion. Is it about artificial intelligence? At the moment, probably more people working on artificial intelligence that are being replaced by artificial intelligence. But what about 10, 15, 20 years' time? Is this the biggest driver, or is it the biggest threat to our industry? Or is there another world order altogether? Maybe the supply chain is going to change radically, where we'll just print anything we want rather than ordering it from through the internet or going out shopping. Hey, is that our future world? Some interesting thoughts. That's my 5 minutes. Just before I sign off, something that's quite exciting that's happening is we have a new thing called the African Supply Chain Excellence Award. All the institutes are supporting it, including us, Chartered Institute of Logistics, but all the other guys are supporting it. It's a non-profit thing. But if you guys have got something really interesting that you're doing in your company, please contact me or the African Supply Chain Excellence Award people and tell us about it, and maybe we can give you a big prize for doing that. Let me move on and introduce the more interesting people who are going to talk today. Jean is head of supply chain development at Takealot. I've known him for a few years. We worked together at Sasol as well. Henny Joubert is supply chain lead for third-party systems and stock management at Takealot. And let me hand over to both of those guys. Thanks a million.
Thank you, Morten. Harry, I can't see my screen. If you can just maybe assist me, please.
So we'll do that. Thank you, John.
Okay, I trust you can see my screen.
Perfect, thank you.
Right, good morning, everybody. Thank you for this opportunity just to give an overview of our company. So I'm going to give a high-level overview, and then Henny will take you through some of our supply chain challenges, and then also how we use Oracle in our business to support us. So for those of you that don't know Takealot, Takealot Group consists of 3 businesses: Takealot.com, Superbalist.com, and then Mr. D Food. So if we just look at our company, our mission is to be the most customer-centric online shopping destination in Africa. And our company is built around the simple concept that the customer comes first. So I think regarding today's theme as well, if you look at the changing environment, I think it's quite important to have company objectives, to have a mission and a value proposition that you want to position to or want to give to your customers. And this for our journey, which I'll show you now from 2010, this has always been our leading focus, is our customer and to deliver to our customer demands and expectations. So where did Takealot started? We started in 2010. The company was launched in June 2011. The office was a house in Cape Town, and this was sort of how the warehouse looked. And I'm just going to show a short video in terms of where we are today. Right, so yeah, as you saw there on the end, we need to perform a little bit of magic every day to make sure we deliver to thousands of customers. I'm going to give a quick overview of the 3 different businesses. Hopefully all of you are aware of Takealot and what our businesses are all about. So just takealot.com, we're the leading e-commerce retailer in South Africa. We sell online via desktop and mobile applications. If you go onto the website, you have an opportunity to choose from a wide range of products. I think a lot of people don't know this, but we've got 2 models in Takealot, a stock model and marketplace model. So our stock is what Takealot owns themselves, and then we sell it. And then our marketplace model, which is almost 50% of our business, is where we give the opportunity to sellers in the market to market their products on our platform, and we then deliver on their behalf. We've got thousands of daily unique orders. I think that's one of the most challenging things in our company, is the variability every day, and we need to deliver to that variability. And at the same time, our customers are either our biggest fans or, you know, sometimes our biggest critics, depending on how deliveries go. Different selection of delivery options. So if you go onto the website, you'll either be able to choose delivery or collection. And our supply chain network is set up throughout South Africa to deliver according to certain promises that's been made on our website. We do have a high perfect order fulfillment that we achieve for Takealot, Superbalist, and Mr. D Food, and we are quite proud in terms of that delivery achievement. Okay, Superbalist. Superbalist is our business that focuses on fashion, and we also sell apartment items. We've got more than 30,000 products, more than 30 categories, brands. And then we also have our own private label in terms of items that we manufacture locally or import and sell as our own brand. And then Mr. D Food. Mr. D Food is only available on your mobile application. When you go onto the application, it detects your location. You're then able to see restaurants that's close to you in your area. You can opt to pay via cash or card. Once the delivery or the payment was done, or the order was done successfully, the restaurant will get an instruction. At the same time, our drivers will get an instruction how to pick up and where to pick up, and then where to go and deliver. And then the customer receives on-time tracking. And normally this happens within, depending on demand and time of day, but might take anything from 30 minutes to an hour to get your delivery. How does our supply chain network look currently? We've got 3 distribution centers, Johannesburg, Cape Town, and Durban, which is mostly a logistics cross-dock facility. We've got more or less 140,000 cubes of warehouse space. We've got millions of units on hand, and at this point in time, about 450 SKUs. These SKUs are changing quite rapidly from month to month as well, which are imposing a lot of challenges. Multiple storage modes. We've got integration with mechanization, automation, combination depending on the type of SKUs we are handling. One key thing I want to mention is our multiple in-house developed systems. So a lot of our systems that's used in the supply chain for Takealot is developed in-house. And I do believe that gives us an advantage in scaling and being agile, etc. And Henny will touch on this hereafter. And then Oracle WMS Cloud is used to manage our warehouse operations. So I'm going to hand over to Henny just to take you through the challenges and WMS.
Yeah, thanks, John. So, I mean, as John has alluded to earlier, and I just need to mention it again because it's something that's so ingrained in our DNA, is that our customer is always first, and those customers do have expectations. So, customers' expectations, as Martin also mentioned, they want things as soon as possible, and that means shorter lead times from a supply chain perspective, which of course means that we would need to keep more items in stock, and we would need to keep stock closer to customers. They also want a wider selection of product range. And I mean, even Takealot's slogan goes, shop anything you can imagine. So the wider growth in SKU range is of course also something that, that a customer needs and wants. We did touch on the delivery options and the flexibility. So customer wants something either delivered today, next day, over weekends, or they want to be able to come and pick it up at potentially at pickup points. And I think from an e-commerce perspective, one of the things that needs to be considered that customers want is a seamless returns process. They are buying things on faith over the internet, and if they are not happy, it for them is a big selling point if they know that they can easily return that item as well. So from a business perspective, I mean, we've got some challenges with a lot of these expectations, but we need to do it because we know the customer comes first. Is we need to be able to, at the point of an order placement, determine and commit to a promise date to a customer, even though we might not even know what our future pipeline looks like. So we are also measured directly as a failure or a success from a customer perspective, in terms of whether or not we adhere to that promise that we've made. Based on our supply chain, we've also got some finite capacity throughout our supply chain. How much stock we can take in our facility, how much storage capacity we've got from a hub capacity and from a delivery network. Like there's capacity in each of those facets that needs to be taken into account. As mentioned, there's an increase in SKU range, which means from a supply chain perspective, your eyes would widen open if you see that like that growing at an exponential rate. And just being in a hyper growth environment is a challenge. You know, year on year we see massive growth, and we need to cater our supply chain. We need to have organic growth within our supply chain in order to support that. Thanks, John. You can go to the next slide. Then I just wanted to give you a quick overview of our system architecture and how the Oracle WMS actually fits into this whole picture. As you can see from this diagram, the Oracle WMS Cloud is actually quite integratory and centrally integrated into our system architecture. And one of the things that has enabled us over the years is really to be agile, flexible with how we want to run our operations, but also it provides us the opportunity to scale. I mean, because it's sitting in the Oracle Cloud, from a systematic, just the pure hardware perspective, they are able to scale quite easily on their side, but also it allows us to do things such as automation within our facilities that assists with growth. The amazing thing about the system, I think, as well, is the fact that you have such a lot of options with regards to how you want to integrate. There's more than one way to skin the cat, as they would say, in the Oracle system, where you can either directly integrate with certain third parties into Oracle, or you can use your own back-end ERP systems to get information out of the system in order to integrate. One of the other things I also just wanted to mention is Oracle has put like a lot of effort into developing APIs over the years, and that actually allows the customer, if you've got a very bespoke like process, to actually build applications outside of the Oracle WMS, but update the Oracle WMS in real time. As an example, for instance, if you have a receiving process that you want to manage in a specific way that isn't necessarily catered for in the standard flows of Oracle, you can actually build applications outside of that, but update Oracle in real time, so that as soon as you've completed your transactions on your bespoke self-written systems, it can actually update Oracle to such an extent that you can use Oracle's functionality further on in the process in order to manage stock within your facilities. So that's just something I just wanted to also mention where the flexibility has really helped us in the past. Then just from a company perspective, in terms of how we sort of manage change, again, the customer sentiment coming through here quite strongly. Customers has demand and expectation. We need to be able to adapt to that. But the only way that we will really know how to adapt to those demands is if we know what those demands are and how to and what the expectations are. And we are actually measuring a lot of things from a customer perspective in terms of how happy the customer are with the with our products, what are their main complaints that they might have from services they get. So we are quite proactive in terms of managing that and getting feedback from customers. The only way that you can really support that agility is by ensuring the business process. And I mean, Martin did touch on some of the business process model that he mentioned with the underlying pillars of that, making sure that those are agile enough to change quickly. At our scale, we also need to be able to do some of these changes in big scale, and that is across the board from people to process to technologies that we invest in. We also try and minimize the unforeseen change by planning for change. We do have tactical and strategic sessions periodically to make sure that this different business units are aligned, but also seeing how the market is changing and planning for that change. We also invest in new technologies and also invest in people. From a technology perspective, you look at things like Internet of Things, machine learning, AI. All of those enable customers to better interact with your products, but also the machine learning and AI technologies behind that could help you in identifying potential trends and understanding how people are using your product to better meet their expectations. From a people perspective, we put a lot of effort into hiring. If you see somebody working for Takealot, it means they've been through a thorough sifting process, and we try and hire correctly, and we try and retain talent. The reason for that being that a lot of these options that you get in the world potentially that could impact quick changes in supply chain and in behavior of people sometimes needs quick changes. And the only way that you can really do a lot of these quick changes is if you have the people that understands process and technology behind it, that's had the experience, that's built the products to understand how to quickly change it, but also flawlessly change, enable those changes. So that's sort of like just a high level overview of it. So John, if you just want to go on to the next slide, I just want to introduce our next speaker, Baljeet Nagi. She's the Director for Supply Chain, Sales Development and Strategy for the Eastern Central Europe, Middle East and Africa division at Oracle. As you can see from her biography, she's got a lot of experience in the supply chain, IT and ERP domains, got great qualifications, and I think the things that she's done in a personal capacity is also something to do some amazing stuff. So really looking forward to what you have to say, Baljeet. Thanks.
Thank you, Hani. Thank you so much. So, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you. So good morning, everybody. It's a real pleasure to kind of, be with you today. And really, thank you so much for all the, presenters really setting the scene and, really raising the bar for supply chain. So what I'm going to talk about today is how Oracle can support organizations creating that world-class supply chain in such a rapidly changing world. Well, in the last 9 to 12 months, we have experienced really and seen how global supply chains have been disrupted across, logistics, manufacturing, retail, supply chains. And we've also seen behaviors that we've never witnessed in our lives, shelves being emptied, panic buying, lockdowns, working from home. All of this is kind of really the disruption that we've seen. But in the supply chain world, these underlying issues that were causing these disruptions really existed. And what the pandemic has really done is kind of really raise the bar for supply chain and brought these issues to the forefront and really alerted organizations, hey guys, you need to really think about bringing together your operational and finance strategies together. And how do you actually really embark on the journey of, I call it the innovation, continuous innovation that gives businesses what they're looking for. And what we've heard today is the speed, the flexibility that they really need to support the so-called the digital transformation across their enterprises. And most of all, really get what they can get out of their current supply chains. And again, which all the presenters have been talking about, it's all about being customer-centric. We've heard from John from Takealot. Takealot's mission is all about being customer-centric. Customer is the king. We've heard from Martin how COVID has changed customer behaviors. It's all about perfect delivery. Shop from anywhere, deliver it anytime, any place, anywhere. And as a result of all this disruption, the pandemic, we've seen that the brick and mortar business is on the decline. And as Martin alluded on to, year-on-year growth of e-commerce coming up to 44.5%. So really, what is it that we really need to tighten our belts, and how can Oracle help you with this? Well, cloud is really the enabler to transform those aging business platforms to a modern business platform that really the customers are looking for to give them the agility, flexibility, security, governance, real-time end-to-end visibility of their business processes across their enterprise. And, Oracle is one company that gives you that, cloud applications. Now, these cloud applications are new applications. They've been built bottom up. They've been built bottom up, and they also have got embedded, emerging technologies, the AIs, the blockchains, the machine learning, etc. And all of these applications, whether it's supply chain, whether it's finance, whether it's CX, whether it's HCM, they're all being integrated together. And the beauty of all these applications is that they are underpinned by the top-notch infrastructure, which kind of gives you the agility, the flexibility, which also Takealot talked about. These applications is really subscription model. I call them, pay as you go. And what we have continuous updates, continuous innovation, and Takealot alluded on to that. You see, these applications with continuous innovation gives our customers new functionality that they can really take on to leverage the throughput and the profitability of their businesses. And furthermore, which also Takealot really beautifully talked about and explained, that extensibility of the platform, because these applications which are sitting on such an extendable platform, meaning this platform is so agile and flexible and really embedded with security that it allows you to kind of bring in other applications which are so fundamental to your business processes. So with that, can I take the next slide, please? So, I'm going to really home into, taking just WMS out of our supply chain portfolio of applications. Modern Oracle's WMS system, which kind of delivers a range of capabilities. And Takealot really did, as I said, a beautiful presentation of the WMS. I'm just homing in. So our WMS system really is meant to support multi-channel commerce, adapt to customer demands, enable service, shared service warehousing, and so on and so forth. Now, Takealot has really kind of, taken this functionality of our Oracle WMS from receive, more, ship. If I go down to a little bit more of detail, it really homes into, how do you manage your dock appointments, receiving your, cross dock, and and optimizing, and again, pick and ship, etc. All of these functionality is really that and more that we have got in our WMS. So in this, what we're saying is that you increase your labor productivity, improve your visibility and utilization, but most importantly, which I really like to home in, is that our applications are really embedded with best practices. And as Hani alluded on to the fact is, and we've seen it in the presentation of Takealot's architecture, how the WMS actually sits in the middle of the Takealot's processes. And what it does, it's kind of really fully integrated with Takealot's subsystems and giving Takealot the end-to-end visibility of their supply chain functions, i.e., delivering the goods where the customer need it. So the extensibility and of the applications and the infrastructure, allowing not just the Oracle applications to be beautifully integrated, but also third-party applications to seamlessly integrate with all the tools and the technologies that we provide. And also as part of the extensibility and innovation, what we do is we give our customers something called, it's really an application or a tool, we call it Oracle Connect. And what our customers can do is, like I say, for example, if they really want some particular functionality in any of our applications, in this case it's maybe WMS, and what they can do is they can log an idea. And this idea really gets voted. And all customers, if the voting is at a higher rate, this really drives the roadmap of the future releases. And furthermore, like Takealot, they're live on our WMS system, and they can also become our members of the advisory board, which they can also meet, twice a year and exchange ideas and also influence the roadmap. Now, the beauty of this Oracle Cloud applications is not only that we've got quarterly releases and a subscription model, everything has been managed by Oracle. And at any point in time, all our customers will be on the same releases. And the last point that I'd like to really say on the extensibility of the platform is that, we don't really customize. And we know in the world of on-premise, look at the customizations that we do. They become elephants in the room, and they're really a showstoppers for companies to really innovate. So with the cloud and the extensibility and the infrastructure, which underpins the applications, these customizations are really configurations. So at any point in time, any customized configuration or bespoke system that you want to bring in, it automatically gets upgraded in the system. So really, at any point in time, whether it's the standard functionality or your third-party systems, all of them get upgraded. Now, Takealot really also presented the saying that, the strength and really the strength of our applications, they can be deployed as part of what Takealot presented, WMS being integrated with their backend system, and they talked about their order orchestration. So perfect delivery, as we all know, is really starts from source to settle, capturing those orders, fulfilling those orders, making those promises, make sure that you have the visibility of the inventory and delivering and settling. So some of our customers leverage the whole footprint of Oracle, which I've got it down there, order to cash, everything is fully integrated. But what Takealot has done, and many of our customers have done, so may I go to the next slide, please? So what other customers have done, as including Takealot and DP World, they've done exactly what Takealot has done. You see, our WMS or some of our supply chain applications, they're kind of standalone, which it means that you can fully integrate with the customer's back office, whether it's SAP or any other ERP systems. And Takealot really presented this and showed us how WMS in the heart of their business and how it enables it to be fully integrated with their backend systems in a whole, satisfying their so-called perfect delivery from source to settle orders, fulfillment, delivery, etc., and then becoming, you know, customer centric. So we have customers who have leveraged WMS with other applications, and you know, we provide the, as I said, Henny alluded on to the APIs and integration tools to be seamlessly integrated. So next slide, please. Then we have got other customers which are really leveraging our Oracle applications to be fully integrated. This could be supply chain, Oracle fully integrated supply chain cloud applications, from HCM, order management, you know, any other applications for supply chain, you know, talk about CX, HCM, etc. And then we can see that, you know, we have customers who leverage the Oracle retail side of the business, NetSuite, EBS, etc. So really, this is really the flexibility of our applications. So next slide, please. So that said, and I think we all heard, you know, how, you know, Takealot is really, you know, taking advantage of Oracle system and their subsystem, and really built their so-called the agile business platform to satisfy the end user. And not only that, but also reaping the benefits of, you know, some of the customers have reaped these benefits of, you know, this self-explanatory on the slide, 55% increase in their, you know, in their DC data, you know, distribution centers productivity, achieved 24 hours of delivery time, etc. So that's really, in a nutshell, that what the message that I'd like to say is that the time is now. We cannot wait. It's a wake-up call for everybody to really tighten up their belts. So how do we actually you know, build that resilience in supply chain? How can we become customer-centric? And again, change those business platform. And Oracle is, you know, we can really help you because we have got the breadth and depth of applications and the technologies. And of course, you know, it's always the proof of the pudding is when our customers talk about how they are leveraging the best of breed applications. So thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. First of all, I'd really like to thank the Chartered Institute of Logistics, Henry and Catherine, for giving us the platform. It's been really, really exciting because I think, you know, I used to come to South Africa, and because of this COVID and things have really kind of become so distant. So I think it's a great opportunity to really get on this platform. And my sincere thanks to Takealot, John and Henny. You know, you made my job easy because it was just, sharing how, you know, you're leveraging the Oracle WMS system to drive the, your business, giving you that flexibility and becoming so customer centric. It was beautiful to really interact with everybody. And really, we are here, we have offices in Johannesburg, in South Africa. Reach out to my colleagues, reach out to me if you would like. And we are more than happy to kind of, guide you in terms of how do you take that journey or transformational journey to change your business platforms. It doesn't have to be all rip and replace, but we can do it in a very phased manner without disrupting your business. And the time is now. All I can say from a supply chain perspective, because I'm known for my passion for really kind of, driving or raising the bar for supply chain. And it's really time for every organization to really, really step up and awakening call, because who knows what's around the corner for us? Who thought about the Suez Canal, for example? It's all about getting the visibility, the data. Data is gold mine. How do you analyze that? Your planning, etc. So fundamentally, it's really time to not to sit back, really time to kind of think and step on that journey of transformation. So really, thank you so much, and please reach out, and we're more than happy to help you. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
So much indeed, and surely we will follow up with you. Thank you so much for your kind support. Really appreciate that. All right, so Sandile, please do the vote of thanks for us and close the session for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Harry. Am I audible?
Yes.
Right. Thank you, Harry. Thank you very much. Guys, this has been a very, very wonderful session, and I think we can all agree that we are in a rapid changing world. So the takeaways here is to what are we going to do when we go back to our industry to survive in this rapid world. So thank you very much for that. Just some special thanks from my side, from SILT, is to thank Martin Bailey for being one of the brains behind this webinar. Thank you very much, Martin. Take a lot have provided us a platform for this case study to look at the journey and see what they've done practically. Jean and Henny, thank you very much. That was very, very, very informative. Baljeet from Oracle. Oracle again is our official sponsor for the webinar. Thank you very much, and thank you to Oracle. Thank you for making this happen. We really do appreciate it. I wouldn't be doing justice if I don't thank Kamokhale Murai from Oracle as well for organizing all the hard work to make this webinar work. Lastly, and to all our attendees and people that participated, thank you for taking your time. We know we ran a little bit late, but it was nice and it's very informative. Please do follow. I see there's still a lot of chats. Do follow, do put some information on the chats. We will try and get back to you, and it looks like there's more to follow with this type of informative webinars. So from my side at SILT, please do have yourself a good day. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Take care.
Everybody.